zone traffic control is an important part of any well-planned construction or maintenance project. Traffic control is essential to protect both the public from the hazards associated with the project and the employees on the work project from the traffic. We must emphasize, however, that standards we will be discussing today are merely minimum standards, and additional worksite protection must be provided when needed. Problems with traffic control occur when traffic must be moved through or around road or street construction and/or maintenance projects. Most accidents in the streets or highways can usually be directly attributed to a lack of proper advance warning, signing, and sign placement. Most accidents can be attributed to a failure to pre-warn. Motorists need time to think and react to avoid danger. The U.S. Department of Transportation has established a uniform standard of signing which covers shape, color, and size, so traffic control should be relatively standard from coast to coast. Traffic speed must be adjusted in order to maneuver through the work area safely and at an even flow of traffic. Remember, motorists will only slow down when they perceive the need to do so. The decision time of the driver must be reduced to a minimum. The driver needs to be led through the construction site. In addition, accidents can be caused by providing contradictory and/or misleading information, such as inaccurate distance info, and using non-standard messages or inappropriate signs. To be effective, traffic control should command attention, convey a clear, simple message or meaning, and provide adequate time for proper response. Traffic control devices must conform to specific requirements for use on all roads open to the public. Check your local regulations for the required standards. The use of makeshift devices is not only unacceptable, but is an invitation for a major lawsuit in the event of an accident. Proper traffic control is important. Professionalism goes a long way in the image of your organization. As with all jobs, pre-planning is a must. Traffic control must take priority during the planning of construction or maintenance projects. One serious accident can cause your organization a lot of bad press and money. Traffic safety in construction and maintenance zones should be planned and set up for the safety of motorists and workers in the area. Traffic should be routed through job sites with traffic control devices, keeping the flow as close as possible to normal conditions. The traffic control plan should be prepared and understood by all working at the site. Traffic movement should be inhibited as little as possible. Frequent and abrupt changes in the traffic pattern or geometrics, such as lane closures, narrowing of lanes, or transitions that require rapid maneuvers, should be avoided. The construction project should be planned to minimize exposure to potential hazards of traffic. Motorists should be guided in a clear, concise manner while approaching the work area. Adequate warning of varying conditions should be provided by delineation and channelization through proper pavement marking and signing taking into account for weather, daylight, and road conditions to provide motorists positive guidance in advance of the project. Inadequate control devices such as dirty cones and unreadable signs should be taken out of service to avoid confusion. Flagging can be used to help provide guidance. Flagging should only be provided to control traffic when other methods of traffic control are inadequate to warn drivers of hazards. Only people who are trained in the proper placement of traffic control should be assigned the responsibility for traffic control at the job site. Traffic control should be monitored periodically to determine if varying conditions such as light, weather, and traffic volume warrant changes in the control system. All traffic control must be immediately removed when no longer needed. Each person who has an impact on traffic control must be trained from upper-level management through the construction and maintenance personnel. Training should be tailored to the level of job decisions the individual is required to make on a day-to-day basis. Signs intended for use in darkness must be reflectorized and/or illuminated. If a light source is used, it must be shielded to prevent glare in the eyes of the drivers. Signs must be placed where they will convey their message clearly and placed so the driver will have adequate time to respond to the message, generally placed on the right side of the roadway. Construction, maintenance, and utility projects generally require three major categories of signs: regulatory, such as speed limits; warning signs, such as flagger ahead; and guide signs, which are usually informational. Regulatory signs impose legal requirements or restrictions. It is important to have the permission of the local governmental body or official before using this type of signing. If construction or maintenance operations require different messages than those currently in effect, the existing signs must be removed or covered. Be sure to uncover or replace the existing signs when the project is completed. Regulatory signs are generally rectangular, with black letters against a white background. There are a number of variations to the basic shape and color of regulatory signs, such as stop, yield, wrong way, and do not enter signs. Warning signs are used to notify or warn drivers of specific hazards. The basic shape is a diamond. They are commonly seen used in portable traffic control. There also may be additional information used, such as speed information or distances. All signs in construction and maintenance zones must be comprised of a black legend and border on an orange background. Guide signs used in construction or maintenance sites are usually black on orange, indicating routing changes of traffic due to the project. It is important that all signs used during darkness be reflectorized and/or illuminated, eliminating the need to replace the devices in poor lighting conditions. To further draw the attention of the drivers to the message you wish conveyed, the use of flashing lights directly above or below the signs may be desirable. Barricades are valuable in outlining the area of a construction zone or even an excavation, but they should not be used to channel or guide traffic within a project. This job is left up to cones and delineators. In the true sense of the word, barricades provide little or no protection while working. It would take a concrete reinforced wall to stop a car traveling at 35 miles an hour. Avoid the temptation to use barricades as pre-warning devices or used with signs attached, as they sit too low to the pavement to be visible. Barricades usually consist of 1, 2, or 3 horizontal reflectorized rails on a pair of legs. The orange and white stripes should be sloping downward at a 45-degree angle in the direction the traffic is to pass. The right-sided barricades have stripes that begin in the upper right side of the plank and slope downward to the lower left. This is intended to move traffic to the left. Conversely, barricades with stripes sloping to the right are designed to move traffic to the right. If barricades are to be used at night, the entire area of orange and white stripes must be reflectorized. If flashing lights are to be used with barricades, be sure they are working before you leave the project, and remove any lights that are not functioning. Some areas of the country allow the use of drums as a means of channelization and a type of barricade. Drums should be white and orange with reflectorized stripes 4 to 8 inches wide. Drums are highly visible to the driver. They give the appearance of an obstacle that the driver would not care to hit. But for that reason, some states do not allow drums due to the risk of injury, accident, or claim. If drums are to be used, check your local regulations first and then use only plastic drums for safety's sake. Traffic cones are a common means of channelization. Many states or local agencies have specific requirements for the size of cones to be used. Generally, cones should be orange in color. In speed zones of less than 45 miles an hour, 18-inch cones are generally allowed. On roads with speeds in excess of 45 miles an hour, a minimum height of 28 inches is recommended. Cones are primarily used in daytime, at maintenance or utility job sites. Cones may also be used in nighttime operations when properly reflectorized with sleeves or even illuminated for visibility. Some cones are illuminated by the use of a light within the cone itself, or Cones are used to channel traffic to and away from a project. Delineators or candlesticks are also a common means of channeling traffic. Their height and reflectorized bands make them a visible tool in the street. A good rule of thumb in cone spacing is 1 cone for every mile per hour. For example, in an average 35-mile-an-hour zone, 1 cone should be placed every 35 feet for adequate spacing. It's important to remember that conditions and traffic may reduce the spacing even more. High-level warning devices for temporary work such as maintenance or public utility operations are usually telescoping stands, allowing flexibility in storage and use. Warning flags or flashing lights may be placed at a height of 10 to 12 feet from ground level for better target value. Advanced high-level warning devices are used to place informational and warning signs well ahead of the project. High-level warning devices should be the first pieces of protective equipment to be put into position. One reason is to provide a degree of protection while setting up the rest of the traffic control. Always start with the first advance warning sign at least 750 feet in advance of the hazard or project. When a series of advance warning signs are to be used, the first sign nearest the project should be placed at a minimum of 500 feet in advance, with additional signs placed at 500-foot intervals. On freeways and limited access facilities, the advance warning may have to be increased to 1,500 feet or more. In areas where low speeds are found, such as residential areas, the signs may begin at about 300 feet or even closer if intersections are encountered. However, always be sure to check your local requirements for sign spacing. Though the number and types of pre-warning signs may vary, some of the more common signs used are flagger ahead, sign or symbol, road construction ahead, road closed ahead, right/left lane closed ahead, worker symbol sign, road work ahead, shoulder work ahead, survey party, prepare to stop. Generally, the minimum size of the sign should be 30 inches by 30 inches or as designated by your state or local requirements. Be sure to consult your local regulations for specific signing and spacing requirements, as this short video cannot thoroughly address all situations and requirements. Again, cone placement can get a bit confusing. Remember, a good rule of thumb is to place 1 cone for every mile per hour. Such as in a 35-mile-per-hour zone, 1 cone should be placed every 35 feet. Of course, sneaky drivers and other conditions might require closer spacing. The use of a flagman is an effective method for controlling traffic when all other forms of control are inadequate. Flagging is an important job. All flaggers must be trained and provided with the proper equipment and clothing for visibility. Proper clothing should include an orange reflectorized vest and hard hat. The proper equipment should include stop-slow paddles and possibly a communication device such as a walkie-talkie. Night jobs also require the flagger to be illuminated, taking care not to blind the flagger with light in the eyes. It's best to illuminate the flagger from above, thus reducing glare and increasing visibility. When using a flagger ahead sign should be employed, and the flagger should take up a position about 150 feet ahead of the first sign. When the flagger is not on duty, of course the sign should be removed. Sometimes radio communication is necessary to communicate with flaggers out of the line of sight. Being a professional, you're concerned about the welfare of your employees and the safety of the public. Lackadaisical attitudes have no place in the construction or maintenance project. The risks are just too great. Your organization and employees depend on your judgment, professionalism, and safety attitude. But more is required. This video cannot adequately train you in all the specifics necessary for the thorough knowledge of traffic control. Your local traffic control rental and sales representative will be glad to help provide further training in this important subject. Thanks for listening, and keep up the good work.